Alright, today I'm going to be reacting to Asia by Steely Dan. Now, I don't really know anything about this album going in. All I know is that I've seen it on a lot of like best albums of all time lists. And Steely Dan is a name that I know, of course. Genius is telling me that it's a jazz fusion of elements from rock, funk, and R&B. That's interesting. I kind of thought this was just like a standard kind of soft rock album. Make sure to go join the Patreon if you want to see this reaction uncut. And we're gonna hop into it. The first track is Black Cow. I mean, they're kind of funky little bass line to start things off. Genius wasn't lying. Nice harmonies there. Nice little pickup here into the chorus. Okay, nice little keys solo here. Okay, I'm like kind of conflicted on that track, to be honest. It sounds good, like instrumentally. Obviously the band knows what they're doing here, but it just kind of, it felt like it lacked life to me for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's just my narrow scope when it comes to like funk and stuff, but like when you're comparing it to the greats in that genre, it just feels, this feels a little bit less colorful than that. It's definitely smooth. It's definitely just something you can float along to and just kind of vibe to, but I don't know, it's just kind of lacking a little bit of bite for me. Next track is the title track, Asia. It's like 8 minutes long too.
Up on the hill, people never stand. Chinese music and the band.
I hope I don't hate this album. So far, it's not doing much for me. I do like how it's kind of combining this theatrical side with this kind of smooth soul. Okay, I like this. Take me somewhere. Love the size and intensity of this section. Nice. Good little guitar solo here. Ooh. Oh, that's good. Ooh, the drums here. Okay, this is good. This is good. Those fills are crazy. Oh, I love the little tone down here. Just, chilling out a bit. And we're back. This part's definitely got like kind of a, I don't know, kind of like a reggae feel to it. Love these instrumental breaks, bro. Oh, bring these synths in. That was good. See, that's kind of more of what I expected this album to be. Yeah, I mean, just a really jazzy track. I love the instrumental breaks in there. The grooves are fantastic. Love the synths kind of gradually coming in towards the end there. Really, really good. I think my least favorite parts of that track were the parts with the vocals, which might be saying something. Maybe I just won't really connect with this vocalist. But, yeah, I mean, instrumentally, that was fantastic. Let's keep going. Deacon Blues is next.
This is the day of the expanding man. It seems like only yesterday I played just what I feel.
You know who I just realized is taking so much influence from maybe just this album, but maybe Steely Dan and more generally, is Jordy Griep. So much of his new album sounds a lot like this. It's kind of crazy.
Make love to these women, languid and bittersweet. I'll make it my home, sweet home.
I don't know, I'm just not loving when they go with this kind of like just vibey, what feels like kind of elevated background music. that might be crazy to say, but that's just kind of how I'm feeling.
I take one last drink.
It's just these vocals for me. They're really not doing it for me. Like, it's still really pretty on the ears. Like, I'm not hating it. It's just not really moving me at all, you know? That track was just kind of boring. Like, it just... it's very hard for me to, like, to really get invested in these vocals because it just feels... I don't know, like, it's just not quite, like, impressive technically enough, and it's also not, like, raw enough to, like, feel cool. It's just, like, sitting in this weird gray area for me where it's just, like, it's not really doing one thing that spectacularly. Like, at least the first track and the third track. The second track, fantastic. I'll definitely go back to that second track. Like, the thing is, if tracks 1 and 3 are representative of their sound, maybe I'm just not gonna be a Steely Dan fan. I don't know. Okay, next track is Peg, but I also don't want to write it off too early, so I don't know, maybe this album will kind of save itself. Yes, give me some more, like, just kind of upbeat grooves here. I'm liking this. This is good. I love that little guitar that's going do 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 do. It's so good. Love that shaker too. I like when they get a little bit more upbeat and just something that with a little bit more intricacy to the groove that I can just kind of nestle my little brain into. That's a very strange way of saying that, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you can just kind of just get locked into those intricacies and just really enjoy the musicianship. And yeah, just fun, bright, summery. I think that's... At the most, that's probably what I'm going to be getting out of this music when I enjoy it the most, is just having a good time to it. So, but tracks 1 and 3 didn't really do that for me, but tracks 2 and 4 are heaters. They're heaters, okay? Let's keep going. Next track is Home at Last. Okay. Kind of getting reggae again. I'm loving the bass line here. It's really good. It's kind of a little bit sensual, you know? Especially with those guitar tones. It is also, I will say, it's interesting how the vocals, pretty much the entire album, have been, like, doubled, you know? I don't think we've ever heard it just his single voice, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Nice little Moog synth. I think that's what that's called, right? A Moog. I like it though. It's got a little bit more reverb on it than that synth usually does. It's a bit softer. That feels like one of the first kind of grooves where it's like you can still like kind of just float along to it, and it is still kind of chill, but it also has enough intricacies to really like lock in and focus on it with like your full attention at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, some of the other grooves are just a little bit too sleepy, but that finds a nice kind of balancing gray area in the middle that I think it actually really succeeds in. I realized the reason I'm not liking the vocals is just they feel a little bit one-dimensional. Like, I feel like every time they're just doubled and there's no like really dynamics to them. There's no change. Like, I'd be really interested to hear just these vocals on their own, maybe a little bit more closely mic'd. Like, it doesn't have to be like that all the time. I think just a little bit of variation with how the vocals are being recorded would spice things up a little bit. So I think I figured out that's where really my issue is coming in with the vocals. 3 out of the 5 so far have been like solid tracks. You know, I think the title track is like easily the highest, the best out of this album so far. But 3 out of 5 have been solid, and then the other 2 have just been kind of a little bit sleepy for me. So let's keep going, though. I got the news. Do, 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 do. Ooh, I like that. Great piano here. Nice. Definitely the most like off-kilter track so far, but I'm really liking it. There's a lot of dissonance in these chords. Very jazzy. I like the contrast between how like dissonant the chords are and kind of how jagged they feel, and then just how like solid this bass line is and how just bouncy it is. This album's kind of winning me over. Woo! Nice strings. Dude, the pianos on this track are amazing. I love the toms there. Listen to those right here. I love that. I think that and Asia are probably my favorite so far. I just love how bouncy and fun and off-kilter that track was. I don't know how that's the least streamed on this album. I think it's easily one of the most interesting. But we'll keep going on to the last track, Josie. That's a really good bass tone. Oh. Oh, that bass run there. See, this one's kind of falling into similar territory as like Black Cow and Deacon Blues. The groove just feels a little bit too slow and a little bit too lifeless. Like I was saying, falls into the similar territory as the Black Cow and Deacon Blues, but I feel like I do enjoy it a little bit more than those tracks because it did have a little bit more of some just interesting instrumental ideas, like some really cool bass line moments. I didn't love it. Not one of my favorites, but not bad either. That is Asia by Steely Dan, okay? Now, I think probably about 3 out of the 7 tracks here I just won't really come back to and I think are just too lifeless for me to enjoy. But I really do like when they get more bouncy and intricate and just pick the pace up a little bit on this album. There's some really, really impressive instrumental performances here. I like the structures to a lot of these tracks. Really, really smooth and just pretty on the ears, mixed and produced, I mean, excellently. Of course, the only thing that's really holding me back from loving this is just, like I said, occasionally some lifeless tracks and grooves that I think are just a bit sleepy. The vocals as well, just, again, lacking that diversity and just feeling a little bit one-dimensional. So, yeah, I don't think this is, like, the greatest thing I've ever heard. It definitely grew on me a little bit as it went on. I was expecting to maybe just kind of hate it after the first track, but I think there's some really, really cool moments here. That's gonna do it. Let me know if you have any insight down below. Let me know if you disagree. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that disagree, but I do want to make it clear. This was still a positive album experience. Like, I hate talking about ratings, but it's feeling like kind of in the 7 to maybe low 8 range. So just for you guys to kind of know exactly how I'm feeling about this. I didn't hate it. I know I can sometimes make it seem like I hate an album when I don't, but sometimes the negatives are often just easier to point out than the positives. But still a positive experience here. I think this is still a good album. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to go check out the Patreon if you want to see this reaction uncut. And make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.